Hello, tennis fans. Welcome back. If you thought the Abu Dhabi Open was going to ease us gently into the Middle East swing with predictable results and quiet early rounds, think again. Because once again, the draw has delivered a matchup that feels far heavier than its round number suggests. Alexandra Eala versus Aliaksandra Sasnovich. On paper, it's a second-round match. In reality, it's a collision of timelines, a stress test of ambition, and a moment that could quietly shape the direction of an entire season. Alexandra Eala walks onto this court carrying momentum that can't be measured by rankings alone. She carries belief. She carries the steady hum of expectation from home. She carries the knowledge that she is no longer a junior story or a future headline. She is here, now, asking for space among professionals who have built their lives surviving this tour. Every match she plays at this level is another page in a book that Philippine tennis fans are reading word for word, point for point. Across the net stands Aliaksandra Sasnovich, a player who has seen it all. Highs that felt permanent, lows that felt endless, comebacks that demanded humility and reinvention. She is not dazzled by narratives. She is not impressed by hype. She has built her career on discomfort, on staying solid when others rush, on letting opponents defeat themselves one impatient decision at a time. Sasnovich is the kind of opponent young players remember long after the handshake, because she shows you exactly how hard it is to win consistently on this tour. That is why this match matters. From the opening game, this will not feel like a celebration. It will feel like work. Sasnovich will not give Eala rhythm. She will not allow her to settle into easy patterns. She will stretch rallies, use depth through the middle, and vary pace just enough to keep Eala guessing. This is classic veteran tennis, the kind that doesn't scream dominance, but quietly demands excellence on every ball. For Eala, the challenge is not technical. The tools are there. The left-handed forehand with shape and intent. The court awareness. The willingness to step inside the baseline when she commits fully. The real challenge is patience mixed with courage. Knowing when to pull the trigger and knowing when to stay in a rally without forcing the issue. Abu Dhabi's conditions sharpen this challenge. The courts are fast, the bounce is clean, and the air is dry. There is no hiding here. Shots either land deep or they sit up and get punished. Footwork must be precise. Decision-making must be immediate. These are the kind of courts that reward belief and expose hesitation in the same breath. Sasnovich understands this environment perfectly. She has played enough matches like this to know that early pressure matters. Expect her to test Eala's movement side to side, to probe the backhand not for winners but for reactions. Expect her to ask Eala to hit one more forehand than she wants to. This is how experience applies pressure without looking aggressive. But Eala is not unfamiliar with pressure. Her journey has been shaped by it. She is trained in elite systems. She has represented her country on global stages. She understands that progress is rarely linear. What she is learning now, match by match, is how to assert herself against players who refuse to back down. Watch how she returns serve. Watch whether she takes the ball early or retreats a step too far. Watch how she responds after losing a long rally. These moments tell you more than winners ever will. Young players often reveal themselves not in how they attack, but in how they recover. The serve battle will be critical. Neither player relies on overwhelming power, which means placement, variation, and first ball patterns will decide a lot. Eala's lefty serve can open angles if she uses it with conviction. Sasnovich will try to neutralize it by reading early and blocking returns deep. Whoever wins the return exchanges, whoever earns those first looks at short balls, will dictate the flow. But beyond tactics, there is an emotional layer to this match that cannot be ignored. For Eala, every main draw appearance is another step toward normalization. Another moment where a Filipina presence on the WTA tour feels expected, not exceptional. That comes with pride, but also pressure. The desire to prove, to validate, to move forward quickly. Sasnovich operates from a different emotional space. Hers is about longevity, about staying relevant, about reminding herself and everyone else that experience still matters. Losing early rounds is not part of her plan. She is here to compete, to grind, to earn every win the hard way, if necessary. These two mindsets collide in fascinating ways. Youth wants momentum. Experience wants control. Youth wants to accelerate. Experience wants to slow things down. The winner is usually the player who imposes their rhythm first and holds it longest. There will be moments when Eala feels she has done everything right, only to see the ball come back again. There will be moments when Sasnovich absorbs pressure and turns defense into offense with a single redirect. These are the exchanges that define matches like this. Not flashy shot making, but resilience. If Eala can accept the grind, if she can resist the urge to overhit when points stretch, she has a real chance to turn this into a statement. Her forehand can hurt Sasnovich if she commits fully. Her movement can hold up if she stays light on her feet. But that requires trust. Trust in her training. Trust in her patterns. Trust in the idea that she belongs here, even when the scoreboard tightens. Sasnovich, meanwhile, will be watching closely. She will sense hesitation instantly. She always does. Veterans survive by reading energy, by noticing when an opponent's shoulders drop just slightly, when footwork becomes half a step slower. That's when she strikes. This is why this match feels like a checkpoint. Not a final exam, but a midterm. A moment that shows how far Eala has come and what still needs refinement. Wins against peers build confidence. Matches against veterans build substance. Zooming out, this encounter fits into a much larger picture. Philippine tennis is watching a transition in real time. From hope to presence. From isolated achievements to consistent participation at the highest level. Every match Eala plays on this tour pushes that transition forward, regardless of the result. For fans, it's tempting to frame everything as breakthrough or setback. But growth is rarely that clean. Sometimes growth is staying composed after losing a tight set. Sometimes it's adjusting mid-match and fighting back. Sometimes it's learning how to lose without losing belief. Sasnovich is exactly the kind of opponent who forces those lessons into the open. As the match progresses, pay attention to the small things. How Eala manages her service games after being broken. How she responds to long rallies late in sets. How she uses variety instead of forcing power. These are the signs of maturity. And pay attention to Sasnovich's body language, too. If she starts pressing, if she starts going for more than usual, that's a sign that Eala is doing something right. Veterans don't abandon discipline unless they feel threatened. By the time the final ball is struck, the scoreboard will tell one story. But the match itself will tell another. It will tell us whether Eala is learning how to win these kinds of battles, or whether she is still in the phase of gathering experience. Both are valid. Both are necessary. What matters most is that she is here, playing these matches, earning these moments. This is how careers are built. Not in comfort, but in contests like this, against opponents who demand your best and give nothing away. So as the Abu Dhabi Open continues, keep your eyes on this one. Not because it's guaranteed fireworks, but because it's honest tennis. Tennis that tests resolve. Tennis that reveals character. Tennis that quietly shapes the future. This is Alexandra Eala versus Aliaksandra Sasnovich. Youth against experience. Ambition against endurance. And in the desert heat of Abu Dhabi, one of them will walk away having earned something more than just a win.